This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
Recording has started.
I missed it.
It's okay. Technically the recording starts when we hear the Tweaked Audio intro.
True.
Because that's how we get paid those big bucks, man. Yeah. You know, Tristan downloaded an ad program for his videos.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And it, like, puts a little video, a little thing. He only gets paid per download. Hey, guess what? This is Superconnectivity, folks. And we are coming in live. Hot. We're coming in hot. On Superconnectivity, I'm your host, Charlie the Professor Esser, and with me, as always, is the man who makes it all possible.
Phil Perich.
That is correct. Phil Perich, the founder of the Capes and Lunatics feed, because he one day had a dream, and this is the nightmare I have made it into. So let's talk about all the things there is to talk about. One thing, we didn't really talk, we talked a little bit about the Super Bowl ad, but, okay, and here's the thing. So there was all this talk about, what's the missing image? And, because there's this scene where Tony and, it's Tony, Cap, and Rhodey. Or is Cap there? No. It's Cap. No, it's
looking up at the sky.
Yeah. No, that's Cap.
No, it's Cap, Black Widow, Rhodey, and Banner.
Yes.
Yeah. So
in a big space.
Yeah, in a big space. So everyone's saying, where are they looking? Or have they edited someone out? And what are they looking at? Are they looking up? Is Tony coming back to Earth? Is it Carol? What is it?
Well, here's the thing. Because when we've seen weird edits in the past, one of the big things that we've seen them lie to us about the Hulk. We saw the Hulk in all the trailers for Infinity War, wasn't actually in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
We have gotten our Hulk image now from the good folks at Little Redenbacher, Popcorn and Comic Books, and that is clearly a Professor Hulk. Here's my question to you. What if they have what if it's not Professor Hulk? What if they have actually separated Banner and the Hulk? And here's the thing. They had made a point, the Russos had, that it wasn't that the Hulk was mad or was scared of Thanos. It was that he was tired of being brought out whenever Banner needed to fight. That he wanted his own life. What if they actually found a way to do that? What if Shuri, who did survive the snap, that is canon, Shuri survived the snap, what if they did have them separated and that's what they're hiding? Armored up Hulk and Banner being sort of the science guy of the team now, doing the Tony Stark thing, but also Hulk gets to be the one to fight. And maybe that's going to be an issue too, going down, that Hulk is maybe less stable without Banner, and maybe Banner's going to be unstable, and maybe that's going to be a big plot line too.
If they separated them, who says the right mind went into the right bodies?
Well, you never know. But you'll remember when they actually did do the original separation under
Samson.
I'm sorry,
Doc Samson.
Yeah, Peter David. Yeah, but when Doc Samson did the original thing, basically, the Banner that was separated lost his emotions. It's very interesting because they did a similar cop-out with Professor Hulk and Betty, because that Banner marries Betty just because, well, I guess I should marry Betty. And then when Betty is murdered by Abomination, and then the Hulk forgives him, it was because that Hulk, Professor Hulk, has no tie to Betty because his personality is likewise separate. So basically, the Banner is always trying to deal with his emotions in very unproductive ways, compartmentalizing them. But it does make me wonder. Like I said, I firmly believe that the scene we see in there of Rocket entering into Thanos' hut is a dream sequence that we're going to get early on. That I do think that that's going to be the big thing is Gamora, who we know is in the Soul Stone, because Thanos spoke with her when he was in the Soul Stone. That she is reaching out to Rocket to try and let her know how he can defeat Thanos.
Unless could Thanos be in the Soul Stone eventually? Because could his guilt or whatever, especially over Gamora, cause him to quote unquote commit suicide?
Well, I mean, anything is possible. I mean, I think he's probably physically in the universe. I mean, there was an interesting side theory that actually the people that we think are left are actually the ones that got snapped. That essentially, this was an interesting theory I read, which is the idea that Thanos, after the snap, is actually surprised that he's still there.
Yeah.
Because he had assumed he would have been zapped too. And that actually what happened was everyone else, that the fading wasn't everyone else fading out. It was what it looked like from the people who were left as they were brought into the Soul Stone and brought out of the universe, and Thanos was one of them. That's an interesting theory. I also wonder if we're going to get something with the realm of the ancestors and the Panthers. Because if Shuri now becomes the Black Panther, now Mkbudu is still alive, or I always forget his name.
Who?
But the leader of the Gorilla tribe, he's still alive.
Yeah.
He has the right to challenge for the leadership, but Shuri may wish to stand against him. Now, is Shuri going to be able to defeat him? I don't know. But he may just decide to allow her. He may, in his grief of the loss of so many members of his tribe, allow her to lead. To say, "You are a wise woman, Shuri, and I will follow you." You know, and I mean, hey, there's going to be a lot of shipping there. You know that. Peace between the Panthers and the Gorillas. It could happen in our time, Phil. I'm gonna ship the heck out of Shuri and Mkbudu. And I'm pronouncing his name wrong. I know. M'Baku. That's his name. M'Baku.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that there's gonna be a thing where when she goes into her realm, when she becomes the new Panther, then she's gonna say, "Where is T'Challa?" And it says, "T'Challa is not dead." You know, bum bum bum, bum bum. You know, so that's the thing. I think this is going to be the whole thing, and it's going to be this idea that, like I said, I would not be surprised if there isn't a talking resolution where they basically tell Thanos, "You didn't accomplish anything. All you did was make life harder for everyone that was left, and you didn't actually solve the problem." And you know, basically, they solve it with science and accounting and economics. And I think we might get a separated Hulk, because that would be, that's the thing. I think we're all expecting Professor Hulk. I think the images we've got of Professor Hulk makes, that's clearly Professor Hulk.
Now that you're saying separated Hulk, what if the snap separated Hulk and Banner?
That's an interesting theory. Oh, well, you know what would be interesting is if they... Here's what I'll say. If they separate the Hulk, if they create a Professor Hulk, all I want is Ty Burrell back as Doc Samson.
Nah.
I want my Ty Burrell back. He's still in the Disney organization. Is on Modern Family every week.
Remember Heroes Reborn? Remember Banner went into that pocket universe with the Avengers and everyone. Hulk stayed on Earth.
That's true. That's true. There's a lot of interesting things that could be happening. There's a lot they can pull from, you know.
But if that other theory is right, if the Cap and everyone are the ones actually in the Soul Stone, maybe they get everyone out of the Soul Stone. Maybe those original Avengers have to stay in the Soul Stone for some reason. That's how you That's kind of their retirement for the next phase.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I don't think Captain America has to retire. You know, I think he can take a desk job and be very happy. You know, I think he can.
That's fine, but some of these actors might be like, you know.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is you don't have to have a reason. You don't ever have. Here's the thing: you don't actually ever have to have a reason for someone to be written out of the story. They don't have to die. They don't have to be trapped in another dimension. They could just be moving to Maui, and you know, and in Maui they can be out of the story and pursue other things.
Like we were talking before, they were saying about, you know, like the flashes from the previous movies, you know, Cap dancing with Peggy and stuff, and you know, maybe if they are in the Soul Stone, maybe they do get like, you know, they'll get like happier lives as a retirement.
Yeah, of course, that assumes Peggy's dead.
Well, she's not dead. She could have been sucked into the Soul Stone.
Well, she
could have been snapped. Yeah.
She could have gotten snapped if she had faked her death. It's like, I just want Peggy Carter with an eye patch chomping on a cigar. Listen, kid, I've been in this game a long time. And like I said, you know, the whole eternal love of Peggy and Cap, I like it as a concept, but again, Peggy had a whole life with
her and Cap were together for 5 minutes. I know.
Yeah, she got married. Well, I mean, they were together for a while. It wasn't just, and like I said, I still want to know who his handler was in Hollywood. I want that story. I want that Betsy Ross story. Of, you know, Betsy Ross and Cap, and because he had to have a handler. They're not going to just let him wandering around. Now, we saw the fat guy as one of the handlers, and that's a possibility, but I think they'd also want to maybe move a female agent near him. Just good thing. You don't always want to leave it in charge of the fat guy. You know?
All right, vamp for like 20 seconds. I got to go grab my power cord for the bat, but my computer dies.
So I will vamp. So, let's talk who else might have survived the snap. Howard the Duck. One thing I do want to talk about a bit here, with regards to Avengers: Infinity War is, you know, how what I think is the most important aspect of it, that in order to survive, it wasn't just that Thanos had to win. It was that Tony could not get his hands on the stones. And because that's the thing, like, if there's only one way in which it works, it has to mean that there's only one way that it actually works for Thanos.
Well, you know what? I'm thinking Endgame has like a bigger meaning since they made that, you know, since you hate that horrible name for this movie. I'm thinking that's like a clue, because I'm wondering if, you know, Tony's like, okay, how are we going to fix this? How are we going to fix this? And someone's going to, like, whoever has the idea is going to say something like Endgame or something, and Tony's going to be like, oh, that's what Doctor Strange wanted me to do, or whatever.
Yeah. Well, or like I said, or someone's going to say, like, you know, for example, it's like, he said, we're in the Endgame. Does that mean something? Like, what are we playing chess? Am I supposed to be the Grand Master of the universe? They'll say, oh, I know a man named that. Like, what? You know, and then he goes to Sakaar, and you see him left there, and maybe even he's ready, because he says, he killed my brother.
Come, Rabbit, let's get the Grandmaster.
Yes. It is you know, it's very interesting. I mean, I do think the Grandmaster, I can't believe they just leave the Elders of the Universe on the table. And I gotta believe all the Elders survived the snap. They didn't get to be Elders of the Universe getting snapped. That's all I'm saying. And then I just want to see who's the champion, man. Oh, they should get the guy that plays the Mountain from Game of Thrones to be the champion. Yeah. Or Lou Ferrigno. Oh, Lou Ferrigno would be a great champion.
Hulk versus Hulk.
Yes. You know. Oh man, I would actually love to see Lou Ferrigno as the champion. That would be fantastic. That would be a great way to bring him back into the franchise. You know. And then, like I said, because you got to give the stones to each of the elders, because that's how you maintain. Because they're the guardians of it, you know. And they may not be good men or great men or anything, but at least we know they're not trying to conquer the universe. Because if they were going to conquer the universe, they would have done it already. And that's the importance of the Elders of the Universe, you know. I would like to see that. I mean, there's a lot of speculation in Endgame, and we've got Ms. Marvel or Captain Marvel before then. You know, trust the Skrulls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, that was like, you know, I want to write this thing about like why the Skrulls would rather be cows than Skrulls. Because if you have this idea that the Skrulls are a fascistic society and are shapeshifters, the amount of lack of trust that every Skrull has to have for every other Skrull has to be intense. You know, they're in a constant state of war because their leaders are just as petty and monstrous as the Kree are. They've fallen into this fascistic state, and they probably have a lot, in the same way that I'm sure they have a lot of culling among the Kree, you know, to root you out, to maintain your fascistic power. You don't have fascistic power like the Krees and the Skrulls have without a lot of evil being done to your own people first. And I can imagine Skrulls being like, man, we just want to get away. In fact, here's what I'm going to tell you. The Skrulls aren't invading in Captain Marvel. They're trying to escape. They're not Skrull invasion force. They are Skrull refugees being chased by the Kree because the Kree say the only good Skrull is a dead Skrull. And that's the plot line of Captain Marvel.
How mind bending would it be if they're like, oh yeah, we're fighting against our ancient foe Thanos or something, and you know everyone at the Kree are just like, Thanos, how much damage could he do?
Yeah, well, you know, you never know. You never know. I'm hoping we get the Watchers back. We got them in Guardians, so they're out there. They're out there. I'm still waiting to see what Stan's cameo is. Oh man, this is going to be like. You know, we're not going to worry so much about Stan's cameo in Captain Marvel because clearly Stan was still alive in the 80s. Or the 90s, whatever. You know,
90s,
so going back, he could. Oh my gosh, Stan Lee could do his cameo as Stan Lee in Captain Marvel. Mind blown.
You think they have enough video footage? Could they make Stan even look like he did in the 90s?
Well, actually, because he did in the 90s.
Oh, those videos, yeah.
Oh no, not only that, he did a film, essentially playing Stan Lee in a comic book shop. Because he was essentially, he wasn't playing Stan Lee, but he was playing a Stan Lee because he was a comic book editor. It's a film called The Ambulance, one of my favorite films.
Oh, okay. With
James Earl Jones playing a completely unhinged police detective. It's really great, and Stan Lee has that was actually, I think that was like his first big acting role was in a film called The Ambulance, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. And so you could even just take that footage and have him yelling at some other comic.
Well, between that and I know he did some videos where he talked to some Marvel creators, but you know what? Also, he was in the 90s, Mallrats, Kevin Smith's movie. So Kevin Smith would give them that footage.
If Disney doesn't already own it, you know.
Yeah, true.
You know what I realized today? Well, actually, I realized this yesterday. Because, you know, I'm on the MeTV board. Well, I'm on the Svengoolie board, which is sort of a de facto MeTV board. For those who don't know, MeTV, it's one of the many channels that just shows old things. But it's very much supposed to be a nostalgia channel for old guys like me. Except I'm actually watching nostalgia from before I was born. So, because as you get older, you just want to go back to that cowboy era. Cowboys, yay! And the thing is that, you know, everyone always, why don't they do like a Saturday morning cartoon block, you know? Even if they're not going to do it Saturday mornings. And I realized the reason they can't, because DC owns all the Saturday morning cartoons.
DC?
Well, AT&T, AOL, Time Warner, yes.
Oh.
Yeah, because Warner's owns Hanna-Barbera, which is 90% of every cartoon you watched growing up. They also own all the actual Warner Brothers cartoons, which is the other 5%. And then the other 5% that's left, those were made by Disney. So you really don't have any Saturday morning cartoons that you can just put on TV. I think the one exception might be the Fleischer Studios, if those are still independent, assuming Fleischer hasn't been bought out by either Disney or Warner at this point in history. And, of course, Sid and Marty Krofft. Sid and Marty Krofft's actual puppet stuff is actually not... It's still owned by Sid and Marty Krofft Studios. So that's why they weren't bound. And by the way, the Sigmund the Sea Monster reboot on Netflix was actually really good. Hopefully they'll do more. I'd like to see some Electro Woman. I want to see more Electro Woman and Dyna Girl, that's for sure. Yeah, so yeah, but that's why we can't have Saturday morning cartoons anymore, Phil. Because Warner's has it all behind a paywall on Boomerang. So you can see all those things on Boomerang whenever you want, but you have to pay.
We'll be your Saturday morning cartoons, kids.
Yes. Well, actually, that was one of the things that I found is an interesting concept within Disney and how Disney and DC are approaching things. Because it seems like Disney is willing to give their content either in an ad-based system or with subscription to a larger cable service in which they're packaged. Because it struck me, Disney XD, like the Disney XD app, has tons and tons of Disney content, even like old Disney content, like all the old Kim Possibles. Because me and Tristan were watching those. I'm so excited for the new Kim Possible movie. The guy I realized they cast Ron Stoppable. He's the guy from the Goldbergs, except like apparently he had a growth spurt. He's like that guy from Gotham now. He's like 6'2" and actually, but he still sounds like a nerdy kid. So it's like it's perfect for him. Just like the guy on Batman. There you go. There's your younger Batman. Why don't they just bring in him?
Yeah.
They should cast him as the Batman. That would be so perfect.
Well, I don't know what they're doing because, like, they're doing after Gotham, they're doing this Alfred prequel show on one of these other cable networks.
Yeah.
And I just saw an article. They said, "Oh yeah, they're going to be staying away from Batman villains." So it's basically the only Batman character you're getting is Alfred as like a young man. So it's.
Well, I mean, Alfred could have an adventure. I'm
sure.
Yeah,
no, I'm sure, but it's just like it's like I don't know. I don't want to say why bother, but it's like basically a spy movie. It could be anybody.
And not for nothing, that's actually what they said about that's literally what they said about Gotham.
Oh yeah. It was just supposed to be Jim Gordon, yeah.
Yeah, well, and Harvey.
And Jim and Harvey, yeah. But yeah, no Bruce, no villains, yeah, no.
Yeah, or and the original idea was you'd see like how that universe that produces villains would be created. Yes. So like the first time we see these things, like we had the first iterations of the Venom serum, we had early takes on early characters and early ideas how these characters might come into being. But you weren't supposed to have the Penguin already there. Like I figured the Penguin was the one guy that could be there because the Penguin could be an older guy, is the idea. But then they put Enigma in there, and then love blossomed, and all the shippers said, "No, this is about Penguin and Ed. This is the Penguin Ed. This is Pegnumba." Anyway, but yeah, that's that. But I do think that one of the central ideas in this, get back to Infinity War, not letting that the importance is to separate the stones. That once Thanos has gathered the Infinity Gauntlet, the Gauntlet had to be destroyed. The only thing that could destroy the Gauntlet was the use of the stones. Because if the stones exist within the Gauntlet, it would be too great a temptation for any other being to cause too much damage in the universe.
Or reverse it.
Well, no, I mean, even reverse. Obviously, they're going to put the universe back.
Yeah.
Because never know that Spider-Man has another movie to do.
And Black Panther.
And Black Panther, yeah. Although they haven't actually shot Black Panther yet, so.
No, but I thought they confirmed it though. So.
Yeah, but you could. But the thing with Black Panther is you could do Black Panther. Here's the thing: you could do Black Panther with Shuri.
Yeah.
As Black Panther. You could have done another Spider-Man film with Miles Morales or Ben Reilly. Ooh. They could have cloned Spider-Man. Because that's all you need is like it's somewhere in Infinity War to just mention, oh, would you like to meet this is Dr. Miles Warren. He's one of the survivors of the snap.
It was funny. I heard another.
He's a little tough with his students. We're going to be honest with you, but he seems like a nice enough guy.
Yeah. No, I heard a theory. I think they confirmed that Far From Home takes place after or before whatever if there's time travel, but after Endgame. But I heard someone's theory. They're like, well, what if Far From Home happens before Infinity War, and when him and everyone else are on the bus at the beginning of Infinity War, that's them coming back from the airport.
I mean, that's a theory. And here's how you can figure that out. They're going. I'm trying to remember which way the bus is pointed, where the ship is, because the ship is landing in Manhattan because it's near the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Mm-hmm.
The bus is going that way. Oh. They landed in Newark? That's weird. Because the bus would be going towards Queens, which is where it's in Midtown. So they're leaving high school. You know what? Oh, wow. I mean, that's an interesting theory. If they were on the way to the airport, because there's 3 airports in the region. One is Newark.
Yeah.
Which is the best airport. You want to fly out of Newark. You don't mess with JFK or LaGuardia. They're both really lousy airports. Because they're in New York and they have nowhere to expand. As planes have gotten bigger, they've gotten to be worse and worse airports. Fly out of Newark, all we got is land in New Jersey. So and this may be just completely out of nowhere. I'm just trying to think. Because actually, if they are going to. Well, okay, so they could be coming back from Newark International. They could be coming back from Newark, looking over. Yeah, I mean, I'm not watching it right now, so it's hard to get the logistics.
But there's other theories too that of course, Far From Home takes place after Endgame. But the other theory was, what if the reason he doesn't want to take his Spider-Man suit with him to Europe is because something happened to Tony? Because Tony's the one who gave him the suit.
Yeah, but Tony gave him a different suit after that. So
yeah, but still, I mean, that's the first suit he had that wasn't homemade.
Yeah, still don't like that fact, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Neither do I.
I'll never like. I don't like the whole AI in a Spider-Man suit. Just the whole concept from the start. It's just
and I don't like that someone else.
You're superior Spider-Man.
Yeah, and I don't like that someone built it for him too. I'm just like, if Stark had been like, "Here's my lab, tinker, make your own thing." That fine, but
yeah, it was. You know what? They should have just had him have a decent suit to start with.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess they were like, I guess you know what it is. Here's the thing: they always have a problem with why is Spidey such a good sewer? I don't even understand why that's a problem for people. He's being raised by a single aunt. His single aunt certainly can sew.
I don't know if they still do, but I know they used to have home ec and sewing in high school. You're saying?
Well, yeah, but not even that. Not only that, I can imagine, especially when just because we got hot Aunt May doesn't mean she doesn't know how to sew. I got a lot of friends, like adult friends, who love to sew. You know.
And plus, too, I mean, if you're smart enough to build web shooters, I think you're smart enough to figure out how to work a sewing machine.
Exactly. He could have definitely made his own costume. If you really want to go, it was the spirit of the weaver of the webs gave him the ability to make cool costumes. There's lots of having Tony give him the costume was just a bad mistake.
Yeah, no, I don't like that. No.
I actually. And honestly, overlooking the entire goes into wrestling and showbiz aspect, which is always rushed. Because what I find most fascinating about the Spider-Man arc is that his showbiz career was clearly more than one. I mean, it only takes place in one issue. But clearly, from everything we've seen since then, the idea that he goes into show business is a thing.
Yeah.
Where he even had an agent at one point, because they've actually brought back. He goes back to his agent a couple times, and they'll only make the check out to Spider-Man.
Yeah,
and Which seems like it'd be, I said, well, wait, couldn't they just make the check out to cash? Or make it a cashier's check? You know? It's like, you know, there seems like this would be an easy thing to work around, you know, rather than just making a check out to Spider-Man. Because they have a memo section for just that purpose.
Yeah.
Paid to cash for work as SM. There we go. Or they could make it out to the agent. The agent could cash it, take his 25%, because, you know, Pete wouldn't have negotiated a good deal. And he'd still get money, you know?
Yeah.
There are workarounds for all of these things, and a good agent should have thought of that. Anyway. But no, and I really feel that they short shrift that whole Spider-Man used to be an entertainer. That was like the main reason I thought you'd have the eyes that move, was to have him have a better communication to the crowd.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I said that early in the early discussions. Rob was there. I think he said I was an idiot too. And he was right. That was all Tony Stark. I did not want to believe that Tony Stark had to be that much into it, but so he was. Anyway, you want to go to comic books?
Sure.
Hey, have you read this new guy Conan?
Yes, I actually did. I caught up.
Yes. Conan 1, 2, and somewhere around here is 3. I'm gonna put 3. Here he is, and issue 3. This is it. This is actually, yeah. This is good. Conan 1, 2, and 3. Because it's basically like a life of Conan told out of order.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we're opening up, so there's two things. First off, we open up, and he's like, and we get all this like old school Conan art. You know, Conan. It was a thing back in the day. I read those books. They were great. The big Conan the Barbarian. The life and death of Conan. For those who didn't know what this arc was called, it's the life and death of Conan. Spoilers, part 1. The Weird of the Crimson Witch. Yes.
He got so he was about to get some weird.
Yeah, well, he got some weird and got a little too much weird. And we open up so we get, here's the start of Conan's story, born on the battlefield to his mother, with the knife, about to kill somebody because Sumerian women are just as willing to kill you as Sumerian men. And there's Conan the King as he ends his life in a bejeweled cage, as the shaman tells him later. And we go back to his early days as a gladiator, killing people for other people's amusement. Yay, that guy died. You know, not for nothing. People willing to die. What are you gonna do?
No.
Kills the guy with the. I think it's actually supposed to be a vibranium spear, because they make about like some kind of statement about how ancient his spear is, and you know, it was his father's spear, and here, you know, Conan kills him with a 99-cent sword he pulled out of some trash heap, because Conan's just that good, man. Meets the Crimson Witch, who's like, hey, who wants to get a little strange? First she kills these guys because she bets on the Sumerian, and then he's like, hey, why don't we have a couple double entendres? And she's, hey, I'll double that. And they go, and they do as you do in a Conan book, and then her face is still pretty, but now her hands are gnarly, because really she was a Crimson Witch the whole time. Bum, bum, bum. And Conan's been poisoned, as you do, and they're gonna wake up some ancient god, as you do, because Conan's blood is the blood of a man who has faced death countless times and has survived. He's beaten death. And essentially what we're looking at here is, as we're going to break it down, this is the story of how Conan's blood is super, super magical, because he has defied death so much that death itself can be resurrected by his blood. Yes, Bill?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm here.
Oh no, I didn't know. Oh, I just realized in there. So here's where here in the ancient Pangea continent he is at the moment. Now he's here, and in 3 he's back over here.
Yeah, because they kind of skip.
Media.
They kind of skip around because in the 3rd one he's like 17 years old, right?
Yeah, well, that's the idea. So essentially, at the start, we're getting this idea. First, at the start of his career, all the times he's faced death, the witch wanting him, but his blood isn't ripe yet. And that's when, in the end, we get our little meet with the little orphans who call her mother. We're creepy, steamy children. Ooh, we have blonde hair. Blonde children are the devil. Everyone knows that. I know I was. Especially if you get 2. And then we see again in Conan 2, we see that they're there again. What? But they're from the future and the past and all that stuff. And they make the point that magic. He's not ripe yet. That essentially what we're looking at is he's got to face death 1,000 times, survive death, defy death, murder a bunch of people, and murder a bunch of big monsters. And then his blood will finally be ripe. And it looks like that's where we are here, because in this one we end off. So this one, he's being hung as a thief. And it's interesting because when we get to this one, he's being hung as a thief. And people don't like you being a thief. They kind of really lay out that, you know, Conan, he's kind of a jerkwad. Because he makes his living as a thief. And you know, all this kind of stuff. He basically asks for a priest to come speak with him, and it's your typical, you can find redemption in the warm embrace of Mitra, yada yada yada. Yeah. And then he goes to hold the priest hostage, and then the Inquisitor kills him. What? Oh no! I'm sorry, he's watching the clock. I gotta get through this. They're gonna draw and quarter him, and Conan makes a statement that, you know, Crom damn you, because he says he doesn't know why he says it, he just said it. And then the guy gets struck by lightning. Oh, here it is.
Don't be swinging an axe in a lightning storm.
Well, no, that's just basic science, but they didn't have science back then. You got to remember. This was in the stupid ages. And then basically everyone backs off of Conan. He picks up the axe, and I think that's the axe he actually had in issue 2. When he's fighting the snakes. So yeah, we are definitely out of time. And we see after this, he walks away, and then we jump again to the future, because if we start at the end of issue 1, he's being carried off by the 2 weird children. And you can see he has his Conan the King beard here.
Yeah.
And he makes the point about how he hoped that Crom didn't answer his prayers. Because if a god spares your life, it's just because the god wants something from you. And that's, I mean, honestly, takes me 3 issues to get there, but it's a great arc worth reading. I can't wait for issue 4. I am really glad they brought back Conan. Thank you, Disney, for buying back Conan. You didn't have to. And that's the thing. They didn't ever have to, but they did. And I appreciate that. Anyway, you want to talk Champions?
Yeah, talk to Champions, because it kind of has a tie-in with something else, which I'll explain after you do Champions.
Okay. So for those of you who remember last week we talked, or last, was it a couple? Yeah, it must have been a couple weeks ago. Talked about Champions 1 and about how everything is going great for the Champions. Well, not the Stanley dies, but you know, we're all got our plan, yada 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 yada. And then as the original champions are about to face their battle, something happens, but then nope. Thanks to their amazing superpowers, they naturally escaped unharmed. But then we got the big reveal at the end that, oh hey, Miles and Mephisto, they're sitting in a tree. K-I-S-S-I-N-G. And now we get the backstory of what that was, which is that scene that was clearly, oh, something happened there. Then what? That's basically everything went to Shostakovich. Everybody's fighting. Everybody's trying, and it's all a lot of work. And oh wait, how do we get there? And we see, here's an important scene, though. This is the one important scene you got to catch in this. It's actually not. It's not as obvious as they try to make it later. We see during the fight with Zax, Miles saves this lady.
Yes.
Then we get to our great scene here. We get all these reminiscences as everybody is all dead. So Ms. Marvel is dead. Oh, they killed Ms. Marvel, man. Oh, and this is important to see. You see her arm and her bracelet sticking out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little bit of dramatic foreshadowing. And then we see Viv and Braun, sort of, because Viv has been fried. Which again, it's not like the first time she's gotten fried. They can rebuild her. And then you get Mephisto showing up. And of course, they're immediately like, yeah, you don't do this out of the goodness of your heart. It's like, like really, like you are going to tell me what I do. I am Mephisto. Mm-hmm. I am an esoteric being. Okay, I am saying you can rewind time, and yeah, and to put it to you simply, all he's really doing, he is sowing a seed in Miles and Amadeus here, knowing that it's going to grow. But they should both be smart enough to know, oh, I see. You figured that we'd be haunted by guilt because we took you up on your offer? No. But he does take him up on their offer. Miles does. Amadeus doesn't, but Miles does. And that's enough. That's all Mephisto needed. One starter to say, okay, yeah, do it. And all the magic was like, what the, huh? Who let Mephisto walk around? And then everything gets perfect. Everyone gets saved. Except the lady that Miles saved the first time. Somehow she didn't get saved. Because maybe that's where Mephisto showed up. Needed that lady to die.
All right, forget the fact that like Mephisto was messing with Peter Parker and Ben Reilly later on. Now he's in the Mouse. What's up with Spider People? But there's another Mephisto connection. Deadpool #9.
Oh, Deadpool #9. I did not get the chance to read that yet.
It is good. Deadpool wakes up. It looks like he's in his office. He wakes up. There's a big hole in his chest. Someone's stolen his heart.
As you do.
Yeah, the healing factor, I guess, is keeping him alive, but then they show it's not his office he's in. It's Jessica Jones's office. I guess he came for help. So we get like a Deadpool, Jessica Jones team up, and then they're looking for suspects. Well, first they go, who can help us track a heartbeat? Daredevil.
Oh, well, he's good for that.
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember how they go to Tombstone, who knows nothing, as Jessica beats the crap out of him.
Yeah. It's not good to be a not superpowered villain.
Then they figure out, there's like a mystical element, so we need to get into the bar with what is
bar
that?
With no name.
Bar with no name. So
no, not the bar with no name. The bar with no doors.
The bar with no doors. Yes, they even said that here. The bar with no doors. So who could we intimidate into getting us in? Why, Senor Magico?
Oh, Senor Magico. Welcome back, Senor Magico.
So they get in. Yeah, so they get in, and then Brother Voodoo's like, "What are you doing?" And they explain that whole thing, and Brother Voodoo helps them track down this old guy, Louis the Heartless, who's telling them this story about he lost, I guess it's his wife. He says his love, Anita. They were inseparable for 43 years, and then her heart failed, so he kept going to dark magic, and he kept stealing all these hearts, but none of them, they kept all degrading, so he was going for a heart that could last. So
for his wife or for him?
For his wife, I guess. They call him the Heartless, but it's for his wife. Yeah.
Okay. So she's still alive, just has hearts that keep on dying.
Yeah, because
She needs a heart that will not die.
I mean, Deadpool wanted revenge because supposedly, I guess the healing factor is growing another heart. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it would. That's literally what it does.
But so he goes away thinking, okay, well, at least someone ripped my heart out, but at least this guy's gonna get his wife back. Well, later on we see a ring at the Louis' door, and then he says, it's you, and he says, yes, Louis, it's me. I've come to give you what you've been wanting. You'll have to give me what I asked for, Deadpool's heart. And it's Weasel standing there, and but if you read Deadpool Assassin miniseries, you're like, wait, didn't Weasel die?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I'm here for Deadpool's heart. And Louis is like, of course, Mr. Weasel. And who's laughing maniacally in the last panel?
Mephisto. As you do. Hey, not only that, but hey, Rhino's got a bunch of crossovers now too.
Yes, he was in Miles Morales, Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah,
I did read that one, by the way. I actually bought it too. I actually went out and bought it and read it and wanted more Rhino, of course. But I'm still waiting to see how the Rhino Spider-Man team ups pan out, because I'm loving Rhino, and I love Spider-Man saying, hey, didn't you turn straight? And it's like, well, wait, weren't you supposed to be turning straight? It's like, what about that heist the other day? Well, okay, one heist,
So I wonder if they have like big plans for Rhino. Yeah, because the Miles Morales book and Amazing Spider-Man, they have two different writers, I'm pretty sure. So I wonder if there's a big push over there.
Yeah, okay, let's go. Well, Rhino's a great character.
Yeah.
And it, much like Krell, I think they're trying to give something of a redemption arc to them. I think, because here's the thing, and this is maybe something that you get a bit in Conan 3. We're talking about the kinds of thieves there are, like the thieves that are desperate. Everyone understands that. But those who steal for a living. But then again, you also don't ever ask, well, if you steal for a living, what must have been in your life that drove you that was the only path you had? Maybe you've always been hungry. Mm-hmm. And you've never been able to be. And maybe there is this idea that, you know what, you can do these redemption arcs on Krell, on Titania, on the Thunderbolts.
I was going to say, what if Alpha Flight's putting together like a Thunderbolts type thing? Yeah, we get the Absorbing Man, Rhino. Who else? Wonder who else.
They should at least have a few Canadians on the dang team.
Yeah.
This ain't the NHL. You can't just have your entire Canadian team populated with Russians. Although that was one thing I liked in Avengers.
Oh yes, Avengers 14. Yes,
Avengers 14. Although I gotta ask, like, why are the Red Guardians, or whatever they're currently called? Why are they doing the border patrol?
I don't know. Aren't they keeping the vampires out?
So they're just keeping the vampires out. Okay, so they're just waiting for the vampires.
I mean, that's what I thought they were taught. Supposedly, that's what they were standing there for.
Okay, yeah, I'm just saying. It just seems like just that one border crossing. It's a good thing that Dracula decided to use that border crossing into Russia, because it's not like it's got like a 8,000-mile border with all of Europe.
Well, I mean, as we saw in Avengers 700, they had a bunch of people on their team. I guess this is just the border where Dracula chose to cross over.
Yeah, well, that's fine. And we got old Dracula, so obviously he's having some days. And we see that basically the Shadow General wanted to steal Ghost Rider's car. Or the Shadow Colonel, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, here's the weird thing. Like, the Avengers are living in that Celestial now.
Yeah.
So, did you see where the detention facility in the Celestial is?
Is it in the butt?
It's in the intestinal level, it says.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty close. Yes. Yeah.
It's in the butt.
So I guess this answers that long asked question: do Celestials poop? I guess they do.
Yeah, man. Well, clearly Celestials. Here's what I'll say: if nothing else, in the MCU universe, they do establish that Celestials have fully organic components. They're supercharged, like probably radioactive and nonsense, but they do have physical existences. Unlike DC's New Gods, which have cop out. Oh, well, our physical manifestations manifestations are blah, 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 blah. You know, it's like you still have to have something there.
Mm-hmm.
Dark side. You can't just go into another universe and say you can always come back. Although that actually reminded me of something recently. So you know my theory on how superheroes fly?
Yes.
That it's not actual propulsion, it's quantum tunneling. And I was thinking, what if all of Superman's powers are based on quantum physics, not Newtonian physics? That it's always about redirecting molecular positions inside of the universe rather than actually acting on those molecules in a Newtonian style. You always assume it's the Newtonian style, but actually it's really manipulation of atoms on the quantum level, like the Molecule Man, like Dr. Manhattan. Which would suddenly explain why exactly Superman is any kind of a threat to Dr. Manhattan. Because if superheroes are existing on that quantum mechanical state, if there's that flight is quantum tunneling, super strength is altering universal forces like the strong force and weak force and gravitational pull. If that's what we're looking at here, suddenly all those papers about why the physics of superheroes are wrong are stupid, which they always were, because they ignore evidence. That's always the problem whenever you have a scientific paper like, here's why this superhero wouldn't work. Because the thing that should happen doesn't happen. Well, if you're a decent scientist, you should say, well, why does that not happen? And the actual answer is because it's affecting things on a quantum level. It's using a different set of physics. And the motion isn't physical motion the way we think of it. It's a quantum motion tunneling through space itself.
Yeah, something's going on, because it's like like Superman, like you're not like he's on an airplane. He doesn't have to take a running start and like leap into the air. At least not anymore. He can float in the air. What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And not for nothing. And a lot of the older versions of this goes into your Hulk holding his breath while he swims. It wasn't that he couldn't hold his breath, but it was that he never really had to.
Mm-hmm.
That his body could adapt to whatever situation he was in. And the Hulk still holds his breath and still needs oxygen, as a fun fact. Which means that actually kicking him in the solar plexus might actually work.
Yeah,
even when Batman kicked the Hulk.
I was gonna say, well, I can't remember what story, but there was some story. Yeah, Hulk was battling somebody. No, there was another story. I swear he was still fighting someone else super strong, and like, I don't know if it went in the water or something. And he's like, I could have held my breath if I would have had a chance,
Oh, that was when he fights Ajax.
Maybe, yeah.
That was the other thing I wanted to bring up. Loki's dead, but what about his son? Because of course the founder of what do they call that group? Byrne created them during the Professor Hulk era.
Oh, the Pantheon?
The Pantheon. And they're all the children of Loki's son, who is perpetually a teenager.
Oh, yeah.
So might we get some Pantheon in all of this?
Agamemnon, wasn't it? I think it was.
Well, he called himself Agamemnon.
Yeah, that's what he called himself.
Agamemnon. But he was cursed by Loki because he was so childish. Said, you will remain a child forever. Until you gain some insight or some that. He basically Odin stole Loki's jam when he made Thor into Don Blake. But
Oh no! If they bring Loki's son into the MCU, we're gonna hear Peter David again. Where's my nickel?
Yeah, gotta watch what you sign. Not for nothing, they'll give him a nice created by credit. They always give the created by credits, and they actually usually give something. Disney is like, it's actually just cheaper just to give you like, $10,000 rather than start a lawsuit. Because you're cheaper than the lawyer will be,
Oh.
Because most comic book artists, it's not like most people have that many needs,
Mm-hmm.
You buy a nice car because you got a character in a movie, you ain't complaining,
Mm-hmm.
And a nice car doesn't cost that much money, especially if you get it wholesale, right from the dealer. Anyway, so that was my other thing is, what if we get Loki's son in here? What if, because again, this idea about where we're going to find more heroes. Are the heroes we've seen so far the only heroes we're going to have? And are people going to tolerate that? Because that's the thing. It's not like we can't manufacture more heroes. And I think this maybe even makes a bigger question. We can make more heroes. We can make another Hulk. We actually have the guy who knows how to make Hulk formula. Standing right here. All we need to do is make it again, In fact, I would not be surprised to see a Ross Banner thing. It's like, look, I know you don't like it, but the fact of the matter is we could use another Hulk. And maybe that's when Doc Samson says, well, what if we could make another Hulk? But just take the Hulk out of Banner. And wouldn't that be because here's the thing, Hulk clearly has a healing factor. The amount of mass he creates from nothing, clearly he could make himself an entire another Hulk. If we could pull the Hulk out of Banner, we could have a fully functional Hulk and a fully functional Banner. And you said that when the Hulk was on his own, he was pretty well, he was calm and functional and doing what he needed to do. Maybe that's all we need to do is just let Hulk be free. And maybe that's when Hulk says, yes, Hulk want be free.
Yeah, because remember Hulk was evolving too, because he was talking on the, on Scar, and after 2 years passed. So how long has passed between Infinity War and Endgame? Is he still evolving?
Yeah, well, long enough that there are support groups and posters printed.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Oh, that was my favorite meme. Someone took that poster, where were we, when they're going, they put the Defenders under it.
Yeah, well, oh, you never know. You never know what happens next. And that again assumes we're not going to make a stop in Harlem.
And
that's always a weird question. Is why? Actually,
not for 2 years.
Like of all the people he could have gotten, why didn't he stop in Harlem? Why didn't he got Peter? He didn't, unless it was because he is a manipulative, awful man.
Tony Stark. It's easier to control a teenage kid than a Luke Cage.
Yeah, he just Doc Ocked him. Yeah. Remember when Superior Spider-Man recruits video game Spider-Man? And it's like, yes, well, we will. I am the Superior Spider-Man, and you can work with me. It's like, well, I'm just a young dumb kid. I'll need you to manipulate.
Well, yeah, because remember, it was Civil War, because he wanted a young kid he can manipulate and be like, yeah, we're fighting on the side of right. Yeah. You don't want to take the chance of coming to an adult like Luke Cage who says, oh no, you're totally effing wrong. I'm on Cap's side.
Exactly. And yeah, so basically he's just taking that page from that Batman playbook. Teenagers can't say no when you give them food. Because that was Batman's. Did Robin want to be a crime fighter? I don't know. But that's where his dinner came from. Like, oh, okay, well, we'll just send you back to Aunt Harriet in the trailer. And you can go live with her.
Well, if we're talking Dick Grayson, he originally wanted to catch the guy who killed his parents, and Batman helped them. And then it was like, let's keep going.
Was that originally it, or is that something that the story that we've established later?
Well, I know Dick Grayson wanted to catch the guy who killed his parents.
Like in Batman #1, that's what happened.
No. What was Dick Grayson? Detective Comics 38.
That was 38. I thought it was Batman #1 that ran first.
What?
He was in Detective Comics for a while. Okay, well, I don't know. I'll defer to your wisdom on that. But even then, is a teenager really the right person to make that choice? Because obviously, if you're a teenager, someone kills your parents. Trust me, if you killed me, Tristan will swear a blood oath against you right now. That doesn't mean. So will Ben too. Me and him were on the ice because he's 12. But but they will swear a blood oath against you for all time, and will stand over your carcass and laugh as your fields burn. That doesn't mean that's something you should encourage in a child.
Yeah. But before, we're almost out of time. But you were mentioning Tony Stark. You probably didn't read Tony Stark Iron Man 8, did you?
I have it downloaded. I have not read it yet.
You know, the controller is still causing trouble, and the escape is going crazy and like controlling people. But Tony Stark kind of gets I don't know if it's like hypnotized or what by there seems to be a program controlling the whole escape and all this garbage. And it's called itself Motherboard, of course, because it took the form of Maria Stark.
Yes, Maria
and
Stark.
It's like giving him a digital drink of alcohol.
Yes, well, there you go. Motherboard is interesting. Is that Ultron? Do you think?
Who knows?
Well, let me put it to you this way: Jacasta's booted in.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Yeah, and
you took my Jocasta away.
Not for that. You took a Jocasta away because not for that. Aren't there like 6 Ultrons are like MODOKs?
Yeah,
I think Jocastas are pretty much the same way. Where we may never get a resolution as to whether or not Brodok was MODOK, and if the MODOK who was working with S.H.I.E.L.D. is the MODOK we're dealing with now. Just like there's like 6 Captain Americas, there may be multiple. There are definitely multiple Ultrons.
True.
I'm still waiting for some writer to say, "Hey, what if the Peggy Carter Super Soldier meets current Captain America Super Soldier?"
Mm.
And then you know what you're gonna have a very interesting storyline about? That Cap has lived 40 years without you. I've actually lived a whole life, Peggy.
There you go.
Yeah, That's the thing no one ever thinks about when you have these great loves. Someone actually pointed that out when Gene Wilder died. Of course, everyone knew that Gene Wilder, of course, was very much in love with Gilda Radner, who tragically died of cancer earlier in their marriage. And then everyone forgot that Gene Wilder actually had a wife and kids and lived an entire life after Gilda died. It's like, yes, we had this great and wonderful love. But that doesn't diminish the other loves that are in my life right now. And you know what's going to be funny about that storyline? This is going to be the real funny part about that storyline. If they got the guts to pursue it, it's going to be old Sharon Carter, young Peggy Carter, and Cap is still going to say, Peggy, I care deeply about you, but first off, you're not my Peggy, and second off, I love Sharon. I've had 20 years with this woman. You can't just diminish that just because you were my first doesn't mean you have to be my last.
That's right.
And I think that's a great point to end this episode of Superconnectivity on, Phil, don't you think?
Yes, our time is up.
Our time is up, as per the orders of the great and powerful Lilith Hellfire. Do not question her wisdom. Philip, how can people find you if they would like to question Lilith?
If you want to get a hold of me, especially if you're a comic book creator and want to do an interview with us, email me nightwingpdp@gmail.com, and on Twitter I am @nightwingpdp.
And of course, you can always write to me in that old-fashioned email way the way our Moz and Paws once did. That's superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @thegmail.com. Not the Gmail, but just Gmail. You know what I'm doing. I'm being old and doing putting
right. You don't appreciate it at first, but then you're like, oh, I get it.
Yeah,
thank you for that.
Exactly. Thank you, Maz. I can always rely on you to explain things. Anyway, and of course, follow me on the Twitters, which I did again, @Charlie Esser. That's CHARLIESSELCIA. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing!
Thanks, Maz. Oh, Maz is such a great man to have around. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for connecting with us here on Superconnectivity. Please super connect with us once again. Oh, yeah. Lou Ferrigno for the champion. Better have already done it, Marvel, because you already shot this stuff. But we want our Avengers of the universe. And I want Lou Ferrigno King. For reasons. Don't question me.
Oh, my.
You gotta work on your ego streams too, Phil.
Oh my.
There you go. That's the one.